to see you guys. I know it's been a while and I've got a massive Safari GTR update for you guys. Hope you enjoyed your holiday break. We've made some massive progress with the car and it all starts with taking the car over to Monster Performance for its first star in tune.
Oh my God, you're holding the door.
They got me.
The Central Florida Skyline Master. What's up, man? Good to see you.
What's going on?
This is right up your alley, huh? This thing.
Definitely. RB, baby.
So what you gonna do on this thing for me?
We're gonna make you a nice, healthy 500 horsepower with an aftermarket all-wheel drive controller so you can do some cool stuff.
You may have noticed in some previous footage that we had a stock intercooler on the R32, and although those are pretty solid, being in Florida and beating the absolute crap out of this thing, I want to keep intake air temps down. So we went ahead and installed a PWR off-the-shelf intercooler that's rated up to 1,000 horsepower. And if you aren't familiar with PWR, they supply everything from go-karts to Formula One, hypercars. This car will be getting their full suite of coolers, but it was important to get the intercooler on before we tuned it. With how I intend to use this car, having a huge power number is not the goal. That's why I chose the 3576 for response. 14 PSI on pump gas and around 22 PSI on ethanol should be really safe numbers for the stock motor with studs, and I'm expecting to see about maybe 400 on pump gas and a little bit over 5 on ethanol.
Cool. So we wired up an all-wheel drive controller with adjustable knob that comes with auto mode and manual mode. So you can just turn it on and off when you want, and percentage.
So for off-roading stuff, we don't really know what's gonna work best. I imagine you couldn't send 100% to the front, but it would be like true 50-50?
It would be true 50-50.
Versus just all 100% to the rear.
Yes. So I have it in my R34. I use it so I can do burnouts at the track, and then I could change the percentage to get the car to launch right.
Do you launch on 50-50 or?
No, if I launch at 50-50, I break axles.
He uses it to break axles, that's what he
Yeah,
does.
it definitely break axles every time.
Every time we go.
Every time I do 50-50, I break axles.
So maybe we don't want to do 50-50.
No
set it and
50-50
goes,
from a dig with stock axles.
What is like stock GTR percentage that it sends to the front? I know it's variable based on wheel spin, right?
Yes, it will let the rear spin first, and then it sends power to the front as much as needed.
Got it.
To give the car traction.
With a maximum of 50%.
With a maximum of 50%.
Interesting.
Which it never really sees.
Now, although we are tuning the car both on pump gas and on ethanol with the Link ECU, we are able to have a flex fuel blend scale that will basically allow us to put any combination of pump gas and ethanol, and it will blend the two tables to make sure that timing and fueling are perfect, regardless of what fuel's in the car.
You know, I had to bring my portable gas station, filling up on Ignite. About to start that ethanol tune.
I'm super happy with the power numbers that the car made. Didn't really skip a beat on the dyno apart from a weird wastegate flutter noise that's going on, which we'll address once we get the car back to the shop, but I don't think it affected anything tune or power related. We broke 400 on pump, broke 500 on ethanol, which should be plenty to have fun with this car in the mud, dirt, snow, moon, ocean, McDonald's, Range Rover.
I worked at Monster Performance like 3 years ago now. I miss it. There's a good vibe, and it's always a good time over here with the boys. Lee knows all the tricks and tips of Skyline, so when I got questions or when I can't figure something out, I just give him a ring, but I got him here, so he's figuring out all the all-wheel drive nits and bits to make it all work perfect.
Now, one of the things that got me as excited as I am about the Safari GTR project is that I found out Nismo has an entire off-road lineup. All right, so check out what we got here. We have a Nismo off-road roof rack. We have a Nismo off-road front bumper. We have Nismo 6-inch fog lights and Nismo 4-inch fog lights. I'm a Nismo fanboy, so I was pretty excited about this. However, it is technically designed for a Frontier. I took some measurements and ballpark, kind of close. We're gonna find out if it works or not. I was a little bit on the fence with rolling the dice on seeing if I could make this stuff fit until Z1 Off-Road actually connected me with Nismo, and they were so excited about the Safari GTR that they were willing to send this stuff out for me to try it. So out of all the Nissans we've built on this channel, the Safari GTR will be the first one that is actually getting support from Nissan. And to me, that's like the coolest thing ever. More than anything, I knew the Frontier front bumper was going to be a bit of a stretch to make it work, but I still wanted to try it. What would you say, this weighs 100 pounds or so? Probably. So it's heavy duty. Size-wise, it's not that far off. The shape kind of follows the curves of everything. Obviously, we need to cut and shorten it to get it to work. On Safari builds, the front crash bar setup I feel like is the center focus. It is the most Safari thing about the car. And as cool as this would look, given the timeline, because we really have like 2 work days left to fully finish this car, rather than ruining this, we opted to take the car over to Bell Raceworks, the same place that does all my roll cages. Arthur is a madman when it comes to bending tube, and he was confident he could get something knocked out for us same day. The first part of building the bash bar was finding a place to mount it to. So what Arthur did was utilize the existing crash bar, which already was kind of flimsy from being cut out for N1 ducts, plated it, and then planned to run a bar across to add strength and give a place for him to mount the external crash bar. As we mentioned before, the front crash bar is such a center point of the Safari build that we wanted to get it perfect. And believe it or not, we actually started with an illustration before we even built the car. That's how we kind of based off the wrap color, the wheel color, and even the front crash bar. Bell is attempting to recreate what was hand drawn by our artist, Josh, AKA Lykel, AKA the best illustrator in the world. So yeah, he's basically fabricating to try to match the real car to the art of the car that in the future will become a piece of merchandise.
So Bell just finished getting 2 mounting plates welded on either side of the support and got the first bar cut up.
Yep. Cut this out so I can get in there. There's a lip on either side.
Yeah.
I can't do that straight up. Plausible deniability.
The only other way I could think would be to have to drop the intercooler out.
Apparently it's only got 1 mount. I'll do that. So I have to mess it up anyway.
Crossbar complete.
For the most part. Now I gotta figure out where we're gonna go on the bumper. I think we're gonna cut the bumper first, that way I can do my side to sides wherever it ends up.
True.
So it's like an inch inside of that projector, because that's the end of that bar. I don't want to go too close to that bar because then I can't weld.
Yeah.
So I'll go an inch in from that bar.
One of those moments.
Yeah. Triple check. Hold the bumper.
First thing Bell told me to do all day.
That's the bar.
One added benefit of how he designed the mounts for the bumper and how the bumper slides in is that it actually acts as an additional mount for the bumper. That way, instead of relying on the factory tabs, it kind of holds it in place even more than it would. Now, both because we intend to have skid plates underneath the car and because of the fact that we need more rigidity than just an upper mount, we went ahead and made brackets that would mount the lower side of the bash bar to the frame rails. Now, they're kind of small, but the idea is instead of tweaking the frame, if those blew or bent out, they're just held in by riv nuts, but they also give rigidity and a lot of structure to that front crash beam.
So plans have changed a tiny bit now.
Yeah.
Thinking about running this through the lip.
Yeah, we're gonna cut the center of the lip out so you can fit the skid plate in there, but keep it all above that lip. Put a bend in it just under there and shoot it back to the lip.
Yeah.
Cut the hole in there and set it further down.
That is crazy. That's hell. I'll tell you what.
Not that bad though.
Got myself a bar.
This is the moment where the master steps back and admires his work.
That's Sean.
No, I
Some skid plate action.
Here, Mike, this is our skid plate.
What? You busting out the CAD?
Woo! Okay. Bye bye center lip.
Yeah, she gonna get cut. We could just. Oh man,
$3 box.
Sean's got some sugar in him today.
we could just go on top.
Where are we gonna bolt the winch?
Oh yeah, you're right. We're coming back, Bill. That's gonna go right here. Oh, we need to put the intercooler back on.
Where's the turrets getting mounted to?
The roof rack.
If we put pontoons on it, it'll float.
Yes.
We're at Bell. Mike left. Bash bar's almost done. Bell's making the skid plate now, cutting it out on the plasma table. It's super cool. About to show you guys. That thing is annoying. It is 10 o'clock. I'm ready to go home. Mom! Mom, that gangster! Alright, so we got our gangster fog lights, Nismo, the bracket, and the cover, which is gonna mount somewhere right there. Ties up under, just bolts, and it's a little pin action here, so we can get the bumper on and off. That's all we had to cut to the bumper was some holes. That's it.
Arthur did us a massive solid and stayed till midnight to get this thing knocked out. And the following morning, back at the LZ compound, Johan was able to finish it up by adding an additional plate, throwing a couple more welds on it, and then fabricating some brackets so he's able to mount the Nismo fog lights. Now with the roof rack, the original plan was trying to use the existing Frontier mounts, which may not have been that big of a deal to utilize them up here. Obviously I might need to cut into this window trim, which I wasn't really worried about, but the problem is the rear window. I would need to either cut into this, remove the glass, or figure out some sort of suction cup scenario. And after doing some research, getting some Sea-Sucker suction cups, not actual roof rack, but just the suction cups themselves, have a nice surface for me to mount the roof rack to, and 6 of them will be more than enough to handle like 100 pounds of cargo, which is probably more than I'll ever put up there. I'm thinking like maybe a wheel, some gas cans, I don't know, nothing crazy. Now I knew it would be wide, so while the car was off site, we used my red GTR to mock it up, get some measurements of where it would need to be cut to, and then while I was on a birthday trip with Colette, the crew was able to take on the challenge of getting it modified to fit.
This is a template he left me from last night. So I marked that in the center. Now I gotta take off 5 inches from the center and then re-weld it and then kind of like blend in that arc back up. I think that would be the easiest, just looking at it. versus taking it away from here. And because we got a powder coating in house and we got the prismatic powders, we could get this back into wrinkle black. So it won't match the same texture, but it'll be wrinkle black.
Be close enough.
Yeah. Alright, so now the two pieces are in half. The total width that we're cutting is 5 inches and 1/8. So you pull out your calculator, you divide that by number by 2.
Yeah.
And then that's what you're gonna take off each piece. It should add up to, you know, the measurement that Adam came up with.
Yeah.
42.5. So both pieces are marked. I then put it on the bell sander to, when I cut it, I cut it in the center of the marking, sanded it down into, I almost took that line away on both pieces. That way I know it's like square, I guess.
Yeah.
It's not the best marker, or I should have maybe cleaned the pieces and then used like a finer Sharpie. This is not rocket going to space. So this will work. Less time spent on the piece. We're taking a field trip, so Mike has never seen our stripper tank. Yeah, so we have a chemical stripper that when Adam told me he wanted to do powder coating in house, I said, all right, the only way we could be able to do that effectively is by getting a tank of B17 is what it's called, which is a chemical stripper. You dip your parts in, and within 2 to 5 minutes, these will be bare aluminum. Aluminum though, you want to be careful. You don't want to leave it in there for a long time.
It'll eat that up.
Because it will eat it up.
Yeah.
Dang. Okay.
Oh, good.
Yeah, that's sick.
Still needs clear.
That's pretty good for no clear.
It's gonna be flat, really flat.
Yeah.
We had our testing over here
So that's what you're seeing now. That's what it'll be.
Damn.
with
okay.
the clear, yeah.
It's very flat.
Now at least they fit. So this ain't no joke. You gotta use the proper PPE for this. This is the chemical there. It comes in all kinds of sizes, but for us, since we're gonna be doing a lot of powder coating house, this will last for a long time. Normally they have a heater on it to make it work better, but this works just fine. I'm not even wearing a blanket. I should be wearing a blanket, but I'm not gonna just toss the parts in there and be stupid. But yeah, if we had like smell cameras, like we could, it stinks. I don't know if your camera has a timer, but kind of.
Ooh, that just got in my nose. Ooh, it's strong as hell.
I told you, dip it in slowly. So then that looks weird. It's just creepy as hell.
Yeah, it does. That's some Stranger Things like.
Yeah. So this particle is really good. They prep the surface really good, and because it's taking a little longer. I mean, it's been only like
A minute
2
and a half.
minutes. So there you go. Look. Sometimes when I run into a situation like this, I just scrape it
Yeah.
and then put it back in the tank.
Once it gets under it, then it's game over.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Just 2 minutes, 3 minutes in it, and it's already coming off. So yeah, this is very dangerous. So Mike, not coming in here, try to particle and strip your wheels. The pieces are bare. I mean, they were in there for 5 minutes, but so most of it came out. I did have to use the screwdriver slightly to like help it come off. Nismo did, took the time to prep it, use good powder, and it didn't come off that easily. Normally, a piece that just paint or a not good powder coat, you put it in there, it's just gone. So that's good. So now we're gonna go ahead with a pressure washer. I already washed it with Josh. Hit it with water, so that's why I'm grabbing it with my hands. But we're gonna hit it with pressure washer to just get it more clean, and then we can weld it up.
Damn.
ready for powder coat. I sanded it down because it's wrinkled. I wouldn't pay too much attention to it, like just enough so that you can see an obvious line that you cut this and weld it back up. Because the wrinkle hides a lot of the imperfections left. All this stuff from when they welded it in the factory, you couldn't see that on the wrinkle.
Yeah, not at all.
So I know based on that and based on the other areas of the part that this is be fine. Yeah. So now this piece is to the measurement that Adam asked. There's this tab that was here.
Yeah. There
was one in the center. So I gotta make a quick tab so I could put one in the center. So that way it has, strength in the center. Because he does plan to put heavy stuff on top of that. Next video you're gonna see us drill through the roof of the skyline.
Woo! All right. That color is like perfect. Wrinkle black.
Wrinkle black it is.
Remember the wheel and tire dilemma on the car? We had two different colors, silver, and then we had this bronze that was spray painted by the previous owner of these LMGT2s. I feel like wheels are one of the most important parts of a build. You cheap out or you have a shitty looking wheel, ruins the whole thing. So we had to refinish the wheels and get them dialed, but choosing the color was very important. Prismatic powder offers a lot of different bronze colors, but I wanted to test them to see how close I could get to OG bronze. So for reference, we've got triple bronze, US bronze, and Highland bronze. And you'll notice that the satin part uses a Casper clear that makes it not gloss anymore. And although US bronze appears to be the closest of them, I like the lack of yellow in the triple bronze, which is this one right here, which was also more similar to the wheels that were on the car, which I knew looked good. My concern was that the yellow in these bronzes didn't go as well with the very harsh greens in this. So the more subtle tone was what we went with. I took the wheels over to Ray and Josh so they could sandblast them. Josh laid down some powder, and the transformation was pretty wild. Finish came out absolutely amazing. Thank you, Josh. And now we are gonna tag team assembling these things. Got some new titanium hardware from the Parts Collective to make our life nice and easy and also make the wheels look beautiful, as well as two different sets of titanium center caps so we can figure out which look better. This is their black anodized and this is like a raw titanium color. Plus some reproduction stickers, new valve stems. So these will be like essentially a new set of wheels when we're done. I was about to coat the wheels with some of G-Technic's wheel armor, and then I remembered a very important thing. I need to figure out what stickers I'm putting on these because sticking stickers to coated things, not fun. First decision is raw versus black center cap, and I'm kind of leaning towards black since there's a lot of black going on the build. Doesn't match the hardware, but still nice, subtle, and you can tell that it's something special. Now this is gonna be the harder decision. There is gonna be some blue in the car, but I don't know if it's gonna be the same blue. I really do like the OG blue logo, but the black also kind of ties in everything together. What are you thinking, Josh? Yeah? Tough decision, tough decision. All right, no turning back now. We went with the black sticker, black cap. Throw some wheel armor on these things, I can throw the tires back on. A lot of people say coatings change the colors of cars and things, but I usually disagree and I don't see it. But on the wheels, I actually do. Maybe because it's satin, you can see the one on the right has just a little bit more sheen, but now it's protected. It may seem like I'm going a little bit overkill, but seeing as this thing is gonna be getting hammered by rocks, dirt, mud, everything, having these wheels powder coated, having titanium hardware that isn't gonna get corroded, and then having a coating on the wheel to make them easier to clean, they're set up forever now. Kinda just went full crackhead mode. Between me and Josh assembling these things, I was actually able to still coat them with one coat of wheel armor All done, under an hour. Ridiculous, but now these things are ready to get mounted up. They'll be dialed in before they start to get dirty. The goal is to actually test this car tomorrow, and one of the most important things, which you guys have commented on many of the videos that I haven't really talked about, is skid plates. I've actually been leaning on two very knowledgeable people, my buddy Dave from Rally Ready over in Texas, and Lee Keen, who builds a lot of the raddest Safari Porsches for input. One of them in particular was on the under tray and the protector for under the car. Dave's a bit more rally background, Lee's a bit more Safari background. Both of them agreed some really thick aluminum, which we were able to secure in 3/16. This is like gnarly. You could probably throw a tree branch at this, a large boulder, and it would probably dent, it probably wouldn't even puncture. So what Johan is doing right now is figuring out how he can mount up skid plates, but they're gonna be sectional. That way, if we still need to service something like the intercooler, the pulley, or underneath the car, kind of like the under tray in a BMW, you can pull off the panels that you need instead of having to undo the entire under panel from the whole car. So realistically, for test day tomorrow, we'll have the front underside of the engine protected in aluminum, but down the road project, or should I say a next week project before the car leaves, is going to be a tray to protect all the fuel lines. Now the first test is probably gonna be more light dirt roads and not real big gravel or anything gnarly like huge tree branches and stuff like that. So we'll be chill, but protecting the underside of the engine is what we're gonna focus on now. Little roof rack update. It's been pretty tedious. I've probably put, I don't know, maybe like 1-2 hours in this so far, just getting all the fog lights mounted up here. Look at how sick it looks. I can't get over how good this thing's gonna be. And then I told you before I was gonna be using some of the brackets that came with the car, but that wasn't up to par. So I wound up bending these. Josh laid down some wrinkle prismatic powder, and now I'm starting to assemble everything, and then I'll get to see what it actually is gonna look like fully mounted on the car. All right, Johan, test her out. Let's see, how's the skid plate work?
Really? You're gonna do that right now?
What do you mean?
Just wait for something to hit it.
No, we just want to show. We just want to show. That was hard, bro. I meant like a YouTube hit, not a real hit.
Okay.
No, it's legit. It's, dude, the whole car moves when he does that. That's sick. Pretty legit. Look at that.
Imagine the whole car with that shit.
Eventually. For now, we're looking great. Colette got us Indian. Thanks, Colette.
Mm-hmm.
She's also getting chickens tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
How many chickens?
All of them. Because we don't know if they're hens or roosters.
Don't let her. Don't let her.
Now Pete's gonna be a big chicken guy. But yeah, we're getting them tomorrow and we're gonna get all of them. Adam's really excited.
You're gonna train them so that he can like gather the chickens and make them go in the cage, or?
Yeah, Pete's gonna be a herd dog. Or the cat. Talk to me.
Or he's gonna think they're food.
No, I don't think so. Talk to me later.
All right, so first look at the roof rack. This is only with 4 of the C-sucker mounts, but we've got 2 more to add. I can't tell if I like how it's kind of sloped back versus being flat on the roof. Obviously this needs to get cut off. And I'm thinking, looking at this, especially since we're not gonna have that much stuff, I think putting a cut here would probably be the move. We don't need this back here. But yeah, this is kind of what she looks like. I know some people will have it kind of offset in back for like, oh, I guess I could have flipped it, but no, that wouldn't have looked right. I think it'll look pretty sweet like this. This is the coolest thing ever. You can leave it there. The wheels came out so good. We had a little bit more preload to it because it had a lot of droop and not a lot of compression to kind of find the happy medium. It raised the ride height a little bit. It looks kind of good. On camera, it looks good, but in real life, it's like hard for me to tell if it's too high or not. What do you think?
No, it looks good.
Yeah.
It's high.
Johan made a good point that we gotta probably pull the roof rack forward and obviously still cut the back of it, but definitely a good solid start. Gonna probably wrap the video up here. Made a lot of progress in this. Obviously it's been over the past like week or so we've been filming this one, but hopefully tomorrow we'll have a very successful first testing day. And it'll be a lot of fun to share that with you guys. So thank you, and I'll see you soon.